Hey guys, Teresa here. Welcome back to my channel, Lost My Thread. Today is a bit of a different video. I'm going to be playing a little game with my husband called Name That Notion. Erin from Erin Sews made a video like this with her husband, and they played a game that she invented called Name That Notion. It was a really funny video. I will put a link to it down below so that you guys can check it out, and I'll put it up here in the cards as well. But the idea is that I'm going to show my husband Phil 10 different sewing notions. So notions are like haberdashery items, basically anything that pertains to sewing that is not the fabric and the machine, probably, or sewing patterns. But yeah, the idea is I'm going to show him 10 different sewing related things. If he can name them, he gets 1 point. And if he can describe their function, he gets 2 points.
Oh.
Because I do think that is more important, that you can do whatever you need to do with it rather than actually giving it the formal name. So there's a total of 30 potential points because there's 10 items. I feel like you have a bit of an unfair advantage because you are my first viewer. Phil, he watches all of my videos before you guys do, so I feel like in theory, you should basically be an expert.
Oh no.
Not expecting necessarily, but seriously, I feel like you should hopefully know what some of these things are.
I might have picked some things up, I don't know.
We'll see. It'll be interesting to find out. So I have 10 things, and when I got these together, I was thinking about whether to give you things that I thought you would know what they are. And when I talked to you about this, you said to maybe throw in some like trickier ones that you might not know.
Okay.
So sorry about that. I mean, not sorry, because that was your suggestion. So that's you.
I brought it on myself.
Doing it to yourself, exactly. So I can either just give them randomly, or I can go through an order of like easiest to hardest. What do you think?
Easiest to hardest, I think. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
And even me knowing what's easy is probably a bit of a challenge, to be completely honest. So I think I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to take there's like a little label that says what it is. That's not going to work. So this is what we're looking at. Do you know what that is?
It's magnetic.
It's magnetic.
So, is it for holding a needle?
Aha!
It's a needle. Hold your needle.
And why would I be holding a needle with that? What's the purpose of it? Like, you can hold a needle onto anything. Does it have a special function, or is there a time you'd use it?
I should know this.
You've definitely seen me use it, I'm just saying, but...
Why would you hold a needle? I don't know, I give up.
Alright, so it's called a needle minder.
Needle minder,
which is fine, needle holder, whatever. You don't get the point, but you're close. It holds a needle, but the idea is that you open up the magnet and you put one side of the magnet underneath a piece of fabric, and then the needle minder goes on top of the fabric. So when you're hand sewing, you need to put your needle down. You can just set it down, and you're not going to lose the needle.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Yeah. I should have. Yeah, okay.
I'm afraid
I wasn't sure if you were getting at something else.
I think I'm going to give you 1 point because I feel like you know it was going to hold the needle, but you didn't know it's for hand sewing, which is really honestly the main function.
Hand sewing.
And you didn't have the name.
Okay.
So we'll give you a point for that one.
Cool.
Okay. This one I know you saw me use recently. So it's a stick that goes into the tube. Do you remember what this is and any idea what it's called?
Yes, I do know what this is. This is like a trick question because you could think that's like a knitting needle maybe, but it's actually for turning things inside out. Yes. Which, is it, tubes, like if you're making a, I'm blanking on the word.
Describe, what does it do? What are we...
If you had like a drawstring or for a hoodie or something like that. So yeah, you'd sew something and then you have the stitching on the outside and you put it through there and then you pull this and some kind of weird magic happens and then...
I think that is definitely like full marks for the function. It's called...
I have to call... I haven't asked me to say the name yet.
What's it called?
I don't know.
You needed your chance to say it.
No, but you didn't know.
Okay, no. When I said, what is it? That was me thinking you'd tell me what it's called. That's all good. I could have been more clear.
No, you gotta... What's it called? What's its function? What's it called?
Okay, we're learning how to do this game properly, guys. Learn from us. So it's called a loop turner.
Loop turner.
Yeah, so
it's
for turning loops or creating loops of fabric basically. But yeah, you got the function.
I don't think I ever actually heard you call it anything, so that's the first time I've heard that.
Well, there you go. So you knew the most important part, and I think that's the best part. Okay, this one. So this purple thing, pointy on one side, curved on the other side. I made a video about this some time ago, so I know this was probably almost 3 years ago. I was explaining this as one of my favorite sewing tools. So any idea what it's called, first of all?
I know pretty much what it's for.
Okay, any guesses on the name?
Can I describe what it's for first and then guess the name?
Go for it.
So it's for when you have like a corner of, say, like a collar, and you poke this in and then it points the corner.
Very good.
Is it got point in the name?
That's kind of cheating. I can't say anything.
That's a clue. Okay. It's... I don't know. Corner pointer or turner something.
I'm gonna give it to you, man. It's point turner, and you said point and you said turner, so I think that is.
I was half
That's
remembering.
really good, but yeah, it's poking out the little corners of things that, when you turn them inside out, might be a bit sort of baggy and bulky. You probably described it better than I did, to be honest with you. All right, so next one. Right, another one that I made a video about.
Oh.
All right. First of all, do you want to tell me what you think it is? What you think it does? Because I think you find that easier to do, maybe.
That's interesting.
Do you recognize it?
Cameras. Yeah, I do. It's for making bias binding.
Wow, I am amazed. Yes, yes.
Now I've got to come up with a name for it.
Yes, that is really good.
Bias binding maker.
Yes, full points. Full points. So it's a bias binding maker. It makes bias binding. Can I just, like, as a bonus point?
Oh, bias binding.
What is bias binding? Or what do you use it for?
Like strengthening like seams and edges to like put more structure in things. No?
I think that's a really good educated guess, but no. So bias binding, it's cut on the bias, which is the diagonal of the fabric, which gives it a bit more stretch. So normally fabric, when you cut it on the straight line, it doesn't move.
Right.
But when you cut it on the diagonal, it can stretch. So the idea is that you can use it to make a nice, neat inside curve of like a curved neckline because it can pull to stretch.
Because it has the curve.
Exactly. It has the stretch around curves basically for necklines and for armholes.
I just learned something.
There you go. But seriously, man, I'm impressed that you knew. You knew what it
Kind
was.
of.
I
Okay.
mean, it was a long time ago I made that video, so for real, I was impressed. All right, next one. I'm gonna go for this one next.
I know what that is.
All right. So go on.
Oh, that's a Gama Jig.
How do you know it's a Gama Jig?
Because it's got a really fun name, and it looks like a little pair of jeans.
Oh my god, yes, I love it. It does also say it on there. So I didn't know if
Gama Jig on there.
I didn't know if you saw. They're also called a hump jumper. What?
I kind of wish I'd read that, and then I could have said I knew it was called that just because it says that.
I love that it looks like a pair of jeans, though. That's really good. So, what do you use it for?
I don't know. It's to do with jeans. I'm gonna guess that it's something to do with like putting fixtures like rivets or yeah, something like that.
Yeah, definitely way off, but
well.
you know, it was a good guess. So what you do with this is you actually put it behind your sewing machine needle, so that if you're trying to sew across a really thin seam that then becomes a thick seam, like say you're getting to like the belt buckles, what are they called? Belt loops. Even if you're trying to stitch a belt loop in place, the fabric next to it is really short and the belt loop is suddenly really thick. So your needle is not going to just suddenly go up this hill very easily.
Right.
So you put this sort of butted up against the back of the thicker fabric, And the needle, when it's going down, then it's just going more in a straight line rather than having to go vertical, like jump up the hump.
You're losing me. I don't know what you're saying.
I'll show you sometime. Hopefully you guys know what it does. I don't know how better to explain it. But anyway, it gets you over the hump of like a short to a high piece of fabric. But you need the name. You need the name.
That's the main part.
Exactly. All right, so this. Tell us what you think this is for.
Surgery. This is a pair of surgical scissors.
Please don't use those. They're very unclean.
Oh. It's probably going to be called something shears or something. Mm-hmm. Because things in sewing are called shears instead of scissors. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not just for cutting fabric. There's going to be some other trick to it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's got this weird lump on it. So is that part of the function of the thing? No, I don't know.
All right.
It's a scissor, I mean.
The most common name for them is applique scissors. Applique, also called scissors. But they're also called duckbill scissors because they look like a duckbill. So I would have given you either. Not that you were going to necessarily guess that. But because this has a rounded edge, it just means it's less likely to poke through your fabric. So if, for example, applique, do you know what that is? Do you remember? So do you remember I'm probably not going to have pictures. I would love to put in pictures of this, but I made for my cousins when they had babies. We cut out shapes.
Yes.
And then we stitched it down on top of the fabric. That's called applique.
Okay.
And the idea of these scissors is you're going to use them to cut around the edge of the fabric that hangs over your stitch line.
Okay.
So you've got the thing that you've put onto the fabric, you've stitched like a zigzag stitch to go around it, but then you have this dangly fabric on the sides. But if you use regular scissors, you might end up poking in and cutting through the actual garment that you're appliquing on top of. Whereas this, because it's round, it's not going to poke into the fabric behind it, and you can just set that alongside and trim around, and it sort of protects the fabric that's underneath it. But I use it also just for if you have like a seam that you're maybe going to fold over and you don't want it to be too bulky, but so you just want to trim the edge of the seam down on the inside of the garment. Again, this is going to stop you from accidentally cutting through like the leg of your trousers or your top. So applique scissors, duckbill scissors, no points for that one. Right, this one, I don't know if you're gonna know or not. I feel like you should. I've shown you certainly what it is, so you're welcome to open it and look at it and have an investigate. So tell me what you think it's for, first of all.
There's some kind of chalk or powder. Oh, it's for it looks like it's for making markings from patterns onto fabric.
Perfect, exactly. That's definitely what it is.
Is it called like maybe it's called like a pattern marker? I'm just gonna make up.
No, I mean, I don't think you're ever gonna get this one, to be honest. It's called a choco liner because it has chalk in it.
Oh, okay.
But it's also spelled like choco, like taco. Like CHACO.
Not chalk, like.
No, I think it's like a play on chalk. I don't name these things, but it is called a choco liner.
Do I get a point?
You get 2 points for knowing the function, but you didn't get the name.
Okay.
So I think that's fair.
2 points.
You get 2 points. Did I say 1? You get 2 points if you can name the function. I swear I said this. We're going to watch back the footage. I'm sure I said this. If he can name them, he gets 1 point. And if he can describe their function, he gets 2 points.
Oh,
you get two points for explaining what it does. 1 point for just knowing what it's called. But yeah, so it has a little wheel in here that you glide along your fabric, and that will just distribute a little line of the chalk so that you have nice, neat markings on your fabric. And because it's chalk, it comes off the fabric easily. All right, this one, I don't know. I don't know if you're going to get it. I've shown it to you, but that doesn't mean you're going to remember because it's a very specific thing. Any thoughts on what it does?
Well, it is the sewing machine, the part that looks like that is like called the foot, right?
Yeah.
So this is not called a foot. This is something that goes underneath the foot, clearly, I think, or on the foot. Oh, does it go this way up? Because there's these grips here. And it's for sewing, I think it's for sewing really thick fabric. Or like thick lots of layers.
Okay.
I'm just riffing.
I know.
And
I know where you're
I know
going.
what this is.
Uh-huh.
I don't know
What do you call it?
No, I don't know.
This is actually a foot.
I thought it was a foot. I was saying foot over and over again. I second guessed myself.
So you.
Because I thought I said the foot isn't the foot the.
It is. You take that off, and you put this on.
Right.
And this is actually a buttonhole foot.
Oh.
So there's a little space here where you put the button that you're trying to make a correct size buttonhole for.
Oh.
You then stick this in where the foot normally goes, so it becomes your new foot, and then it glides up and down to create the right size buttonhole for your project. So, buttonhole foot. It's very clever. It's a very fun thing to watch as well. It just does it on its own. That's an automatic buttonhole foot.
My first instinct was it was a sewing foot, and I wondered if it was as simple as.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say. You were close. All right, and then this one. I don't know. I feel like I think I did show you what this does. You probably won't remember, but I don't think you're gonna guess the name. But you never know.
Oh,
Tell me any thoughts you have. Again, you're welcome to play around with it, see what it does. Hold it up. Show us what you're doing.
I don't know. This slides along, and it's got some little claws.
Uh-huh.
No, I don't know. I have no idea what that is.
No guesses.
No, I got nothing. I don't know what that is
Just
at all.
Back scratcher.
No, I don't. I
All
could even say whether or not it's a back scratcher. I have no idea what it is.
For a very tiny little back. Right, so this is called a bodkin, which I didn't think you were going to get. It's I don't know why it's called a bodkin. It is just called a bodkin. But the idea, this is mainly supposed to be used for elastic, but I use it for a whole variety of things. But it's basically for threading something into a channel. So if you have elastic and you're putting it into like an elastic waistband, you open it up, you grip the elastic, and then you close it tight, so that way it's going to keep that elastic secure. And then this is a nice easy end to push through the channel to pull it through. So I've used it when like your tie on your hoodie came out. I pull this out and then I can pull it back through. But I use it for not just elastic, but just any kind of loops and ties. It's an easy way to pull it through a channel that it needs to get through.
Oh.
No point.
No points.
And finally, I don't know. I feel like this is definitely a tricky one, but you might have some guesses. So yeah, play it around. Tell me what you think it is for, and tell me what you think it might be called.
Well, first off, it's a type of sewing foot.
Wow.
I can say that now.
You have learned something today.
I kind of knew that, and I second guessed myself earlier.
That's all right.
Is this a hump jumper? Isn't there something called a hump jumper?
Yeah, you weren't even paying attention earlier. I mentioned it. All right. The hump jumper is another name for the Gama Jig.
Oh.
So no.
Oh.
But what does it do?
It helps you. It's to do with. It isn't. I thought this. So this one isn't this to do with like thick fabric, because this goes up and down, and it pulls the fabric along. It looks like. So isn't it to do with dealing with thick fabric?
You got that right.
And so then I've got to come up with a name for it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Thick fabric foot. I don't know.
It has a cute name. It's called a walking foot.
Oh,
because it kind of walks
that.
your fabric through as you're so normally you've got these little ridgy bits on the bottom of where your sewing machine is, the sewing hole, or underneath your foot, sewing machine foot, on the base of the sewing machine you have these little gripper things, and they shift and pull your fabric through, and this one shifts and pulls the fabric from the top as well, so it helps to move trickier fabrics, like thicker fabrics, through more evenly. But yeah, so it's called a walking foot because it walks your fabric through. So yeah, I didn't know if you were going to guess that, because that's basically what you were guessing for the last foot that I showed you.
I thought the button one was the thing that goes underneath.
But you still got it. So you get 2 points for knowing the function. Right, I need to actually tally up your points because I wasn't keeping tabs. Right, so I think we're at 14 points. I'll have it up on the screen. You guys will know how many points we got too. And honestly, the points are not really what it's all about. I think you did pretty well.
Oh, well, thank you.
I think it's all relative, right? But no, I think in general, you knew the function of most of them, which is really what it's all about. And you even had some names, which I thought was pretty good going. So thank you, Phil, for joining us.
You're welcome. That was fun.
Right, so I would definitely love to see more of these videos, guys. I've seen 2 so far, so I'm only the 3rd person to take part in this game. I'm not going to tag specific people, but anyone who has somebody in their life, whether it's a partner, a close friend, and a relative that doesn't sew, and you want to test how much they know about your hobby, make a video, tag with hashtag namethatnotion, tag Erin Sews, and let me know, because honestly I want to see any and all of these videos. They're really good fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. Please do give me a like if you did, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of my videos, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!